Good morning, everyone. This is Lila in Hawaii, in Honolulu. Now I'm going to go right over to the south of France, to Provence, and show you my rendition of Monet's studio, which is in this box. And there is, of course, some of Monet's art, just to get you in the idea of what I've got in the box. I've got this in the box. My own drawings are in the box, and I'll show you in a second. So there's some of his pictures. What else is here? His paintings. Some of them are in my book, in my box of tricks. Particularly those are in there. My idea of the boat, lots of boats. Anyway, I'll put this aside, and I'm going to show you in the box. I call it Monet's Studio. I found the box years ago in a card shop, and in the top of it, it had cards, and in the bottom part, it had envelopes. So this is how it looks. And to start off, though, I drew a picture of Provence, my version. Then I applicated it with all sorts of lace, put on some beads, did a painting of a house in Provence and outlined it with embroidery, put some lace up here, and then some tea-dyed fabrics on the sides and across the bottom. The rest of the box is the original Monet's artwork. So let me open it. This is his studio. My version. Okay, so this is the things that I found that Monet either liked or that he needed to do. It was his reminder. It was on his bulletin board, you might say. And some of the things it says is clean out the brushes, finish sketches, remove weeds in the garden, frame the miniatures, get some lacquer, and visit my yacht, says Monet. Now inside here, there are two parts to it. There's the drop down part I'll show you in a second. So first of all, we have, this is one of his drop cloths. He used to blot his paint. I have several of these myself, and so this is my version of one that he might have with his colours. So that's on muslin, and then a couple of tags of my drawings of his. Next, here's another roll of his fabric dyed, ready to, it's a scroll, but it's ready to go. I also have an old Scrabble brush that he would use, and then I have a decorated paintbrush also, a finer paintbrush that I decorated just to make it look pretty. And I think there's another, and then a regular paintbrush, the type he might use. Also, here's a bottle of ink, black ink, and another bottle with some crystals that he might use. And here is a brooch that I made with for his woman, and it's on glass with a backing like that. And then, of course, I put some chalk. He used a lot of chalk. He liked to make things look duller and go over them with the chalk. And then I also put together a little booklet of cut-up pictures. And I just put Monet's words there, and I just took some of my art and cut that up. And so that's in the top of his studio. And then in the bottom part, I have two books. Let me just check it out here. The first one is this one that I made, and it says exemplar, and it has his name on the front, and I used squares of upholstery fabric that I had as the background on all of them. And the quotes in here are his quotes, and the illustrations are mine, paintings. And this first quote is, "I'm not performing miracles. I'm using up and wasting a lot of paint." This one says, "A good impression is lost so quickly." This one says, "Color is my day-long obsession." Mine too, actually. This one, the cottage says, "The more I live, the more I regret how little I know." Isn't that true? Particularly when you get older, like me. This windowsill in his house says, "I must have flowers always and always and always." And then at the last page, I did copies of his colors that he used that I found. I did miss one. I missed the lemon yellow. Couldn't fit it in there. But there was also cadmium yellow and lemon yellow, phthalo blue, titanium white, viridian, cobalt violet, cadmium red, and vert green. So those are there. And then this is the little painter's book, fabric book. So one of my pictures of my brushes on the cover. And inside you'll find the chateau where he lived. This is his boats. Very primitive, I must say. As in Monet's boats, he loved boats. He also loved yachts. So these two pictures, this one's his yachts. This is clothes hanging on a line, which I saw a lot in France. So this is some watercolors. This one's a picture from one of, like he would do, of his woman tending the garden. And I cut it into an oval. I did the painting just roughly, cut it into an oval, appliqued it on, and then wrote in a circle around it. The Jardin de Monet, it says. And then here's the studio of Monet here on this side. And then on the back, just the market nearby. So those go into the bottom part here. If I can get them in there. And then this closes up. And then his studio gets put to bed for the night. So anyway, this is Luma in Hawaii. Hope you enjoyed that little tour. A little bit primitive, I think, but thank you so much for watching. Bye now.